Let's start by discussing the concept of limited supply and digital scarcity, one of Bitcoin's foundational pillars. Unlike fiat currencies, which can be issued without limits by governments, Bitcoin was designed with a fixed cap. There will only ever be 21 million units. This makes it a deflationary asset, intended to gain value over time due to its scarcity. Additionally, there's a mechanism called halving, which reduces the number of new Bitcoins mined every 4 years, controlling supply and increasing its potential for appreciation. This feature attracts many investors, especially during inflationary periods, as Bitcoin is seen as a way to preserve wealth. On the other hand, there are some challenges to this narrative. For instance, Bitcoin's value relies entirely on demand, which is highly volatile. Even though it is scarce, this alone does not guarantee sustained value in the long term, especially if widespread adoption or significant practical use cases are lacking. Moreover, around 20% of all issued Bitcoins are inaccessible due to lost private keys. While this reduces the circulating supply, potentially increasing value, it also concentrates wealth in fewer hands, creating a system that may seem as unequal as traditional currencies. Now, let's move on to decentralization and censorship resistance, another key aspect of Bitcoin. The network operates in a decentralized manner with no central authority controlling transactions. This means no one can censor or block transactions as long as you have access to the network. Real-world examples demonstrate its impact. In Venezuela, many people used Bitcoin to protect their purchasing power during hyperinflation, while in Nigeria, activists raised funds for protests against police brutality, bypassing banking restrictions. But in practice, is Bitcoin truly that decentralized? Today, large mining pools control a significant portion of the network, concentrating power among a few groups. This poses a potential threat to true decentralization, as these groups could theoretically coordinate actions that compromise network security. Furthermore, most users access Bitcoin through centralized exchanges, which operate like traditional banks and are subject to government regulations, weakening the promise of complete censorship resistance. Another widely debated topic is the idea that Bitcoin offers protection against inflation. This stems from its limited issuance, unlike fiat currencies that can be devalued over time due to excessive money printing. In economies like Argentina and Zimbabwe, where local currencies have rapidly lost value, Bitcoin has been used as an alternative to preserve wealth. On a global scale, crises like the COVID-19 pandemic led many investors to view Bitcoin as a hedge against inflation. However, Bitcoin also has weaknesses in this role. Its high volatility means it can experience sharp value declines during crises, as seen in 2021 and 2022. This sets it apart from physical gold, which has historically been a safe haven in uncertain times. Additionally, for countries with limited digital infrastructure, relying on Bitcoin as inflation protection is challenging since it depends on constant access to electricity and the internet. One of Bitcoin's strengths is its portability and global accessibility. It enables fast and relatively low-cost transfers anywhere in the world without intermediaries. This is a significant advantage for people relying on international remittances, particularly in countries where bank transfer fees are high and processing times are slow. In emergencies such as wars or economic crises, Bitcoin has been used to securely transfer or store wealth without restrictions. However, it's not without flaws. During periods of high network demand, such as in 2017 and 2021, transaction fees skyrocketed, making Bitcoin impractical for small payments. Additionally, its dependence on digital infrastructure is a vulnerability, especially in rural areas or conflict zones where internet and electricity access is limited. Finally, let's consider the growth of global adoption and Bitcoin's increasing legitimacy. Major companies like PayPal and Visa now enable Bitcoin payments, and regulated financial products like Bitcoin ETFs have attracted institutional investors. Some countries have taken bold steps, such as El Salvador, which adopted Bitcoin as an official currency. These developments demonstrate that the cryptocurrency is gaining traction in the global financial market and driving technological innovation. Nevertheless, adoption still faces significant challenges. Many countries, such as China and India, have implemented strict restrictions on cryptocurrency use. Furthermore, the environmental impact of Bitcoin mining is a growing concern, especially in a world where sustainability is a priority. This factor could slow adoption in countries aiming to reduce carbon emissions. In summary, Bitcoin has unique characteristics that make it appealing, such as its limited supply, decentralization, and global accessibility. It serves as an intriguing alternative for those seeking innovation and protection against inflation. However, it also faces considerable challenges, including volatility, power concentration, reliance on digital infrastructure, and environmental issues. Neither Bitcoin nor traditional fiat currencies are perfect solutions. Each has its strengths and weaknesses. Ultimately, it depends on how people choose to use them and the economic and social conditions they face.